start, but our speaker's not here yet. He's right behind us. Just had breakfast with him, so he'll be right here.
I've heard you give plenty of filibusters. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They'd all just text him all at the same time, say, hey, late.
Yeah, he'd like that, I'm sure. You're going to find he went to a dermatologist. He's going to wear his ball cap whenever he comes in here, so I think I'm going to ask him to take it off and see what he does.
Move cover.
Yeah.
That's all right.
For being late. No, I wouldn't do that.
There it is.
There it is.
Looking good.
April.
John's sitting in there.
Coop, we usually all take our hat off inside the chambers. I'd already told him. Just
you.
always remember we're
Thanks for the
laughing at you,
attention.
not with you.
Really,
It's good friends.
Yeah.
great to have friends.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to call our meeting to order. And Summer, if you'll call roll, please.
David Mason,
Here.
Sandra Robinette,
Here.
Dr. Marcy Mack,
Here.
John Blankenship,
Here.
Jesse Ashlock,
Here.
Ken Gertie,
Here.
April Danahay. Here. Sean Cummins was not able to be here. Jeremy Heiss,
Here.
Jonathan Waddell,
Here.
Keaton Francis, did not see him. Jennifer Smithson. Here. George Pankinen,
Here.
Dwight Hughes.
Here.
Dr. Dudley Darrow.
Here.
All right, you have a quorum.
All right, very good. Item number 2.1, consider approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the Vance Development Authority of April 15, 2025. Are there any questions? You've been given a copy of all those minutes. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, minutes pass. Item 3.1, update on funding related to Eisenhower Elementary project, school project, including discussion on Oklahoma House Bill 2516 and 2518. And I don't know if we want to start with you or Dr. Darrow. Do you want to lead off?
I don't mind. Coop can clean up for me all over there.
Okay.
Good, I tried my best.
Well, hey, first of all, I put some renderings in your packet there, just kind of where we're at. You'll notice it's, capacity is 350 students. You can kind of see every classroom, grade level has three. So 3 kindergarten classrooms, 3 first grade classrooms, 1 big square. And that's really for a pull-out if we would need a special ed teacher or a title teacher to pull out in one of those classrooms. So we'll have 3 classrooms per grade level. You'll notice also that it's it's facing the northwest. So it'll be facing northwest, it'll be behind the existing Eisenhower. We've already made plans we can fence that off when it comes to construction time. We can fence that off and enter through Fox Drive. And we'll be able to keep having school while we're building the school. So things are trending very nicely there. Meeting with Dr. Robinson is meeting with the architects weekly. I think last week we finalized on some furniture and we finalized on some countertops, which countertops were, as you can imagine, were a heated discussion. But anyways, things are going very nicely. We're ahead of schedule. We've got to get this done by December 31st. But we're well above, we're over halfway done. So things are trending nicely. And then starting January 1st, we'll start the process with the build application. So.
Is there a gymnasium in that building?
Yeah,
now?
there's that.
No, I mean, not in the new one, in the old one.
Yeah, it's off to the side.
Sets
It's
aside,
separated,
yeah.
Okay,
It's a rock gym,
okay.
be to the east side, yeah.
Didn't know that. I'd never been in that building.
Well, yeah.
Coop, you have anything you want?
Yeah, just outstanding improvement, designs, all looks really great. So for my piece, naturally, we had to come up with 20% match, and so we're working on the 1 million commitment from OSMPC, and we've already at 750,000. I know George will speak to that the next meeting they got here in a minute, but this session they had a bill that two bills, one to set up a revolving fund, and then the other one essentially to fund it. You would think that there would be a lot of support, and there was support for it, but there was issues back and forth about why are we, building schools or whatever, and we got into, there was a lot of issues there. But anyway, it was approved finally. We got it through the Senate. It's where the issues were, but we got that approved, and so we get $5 million through this revolving fund, which is the military department. Didn't really matter where it went. Generally, the money for SMPC went through the Department of Commerce, but the speaker just thought, well, military, we'll put it in the military department. And that was a whole nother discussion. Well, what does the Guard have to do with building schools? Which is nothing. It's just where the money went. So after we got through all of that, then it pretty much sailed through and made it. So we'll get $5 million. I know Altus is going to receive dollars to assist with their school as well. But my main thing with that was to ensure that the legislature kept that revolving fund there. And what I told them was that what happens in the future when we have another priority at another base or at the other facilities we have in the state, the 5 major military installations. So they do and will keep that. And so then if there are other priorities, they'll come from us, Military Planning Commission and others about what our priorities are. And then if you can convince them that it is important to the communities and the state, then they could possibly do another funding like this. So now, at least for the approximate cost that we think it is, we pretty much have our dollars there. So we fully expect that once engineering design is done. I know once that's approved, and then it has to go back to get approval from OLDCC to get money from Department of Defense. What is your timeline on when you think that you'll be done? I mean, I've heard the end of the year, but then after that it is, what do you think the timing is to actually be able to start?
I don't know exactly, Coop. I know that Henson's working on it. I would anticipate there'd be a little bit of delay, just with because we've got to start that application process all over again with the portal.
Right.
But you did have a point there that we should know a really good idea within the next month or two how much this thing's going to cost. So we'll be able to really figure out the 80-20 split moving forward. Timeline-wise, I don't have any concrete dates yet, not yet.
Do you think once you get approval for DOD, it's a matter of you've got all your design and engineering done, then it's a matter really of going to bid and things like that?
Yeah, and that'll be, and we've already board approved Henson Construction for the project.
Okay, so you're
right
well down the road.
So
on that.
Henson's already worked on getting access on that Fox Drive, I believe we're setting up security access on that. So those things are happening.
So really, the timing is in the portal again, make sure it's approved, which they just are looking at designs, and then they say, yes, so it's that piece. So we'll want to follow that and ensure that DOD and OLDCC are doing that as efficient. And they're pretty good at timing to get that done, so. Okay. Great project.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's all I got on that.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, I'll move on to item 3.2. Update on funding from the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission for Eisenhower Elementary School, land purchase, and additional priorities for Vance Air Force Base. And I think Mayor Panikin.
All right. Eisenhower Elementary School, what we're asking for this year is, I think, $250, $240. It'll bring us to $750 total, and then we plan to fund the rest of it the next year. We would have probably done all of it this year, but the land purchase agreement came up and was a much higher importance as far as time frame, so we had to get that taken care of right away. That was the deal where we're trying to buy that parcel of land just south of the runways. Somebody was trying to put a hunting lodge in there, we thought that probably wasn't a good place for a hunting lodge. So anyway, we did what we had to get that taken care of. I prepared grants for both the Eisenhower Elementary School and the land purchase agreement to OSMPC. They're being reviewed by the other commissioners now. We have a meeting Thursday down at Tinker Air Force Base, and they should be approved at that time. So I anticipate no problem with those. I brought them up to the committee before, and they're all in favor. So I expect that'll be good. Additional priorities, housing and fire station are just things coming up behind, so don't really have anything on that right now.
I'm not getting ahead of you about the land purchase, am I, in here?
No, I was just going to say, of course.
Okay, yeah.
200,000 for that is approximately 60 acres there.
Yep.
And I know, and Mayor, I know we're trying to figure out a time when we can,
Yep.
officially proffer that to the Air Force. And I know we're looking at October. I've given those dates, then we'll wait to hear from you when that is. So we'll see. And then, so that's good to get out of the way. On the housing and fire station, the reason I put those on there, Mayor, yesterday, I got a call about a week ago from their new support group commander, because we want to talk about, as he's new on the ground, him and the new wing commander, that they wanted to talk about possible housing issues. And, if any of you, a lot of you, April and other, John, have been involved. We've kind of had housing issues off and on for 30 years that we've tried to deal with. So we had some good discussions yesterday about some options on all of that. And then the fire station, they're actually out of that fire station at the moment. I understand mold and other issues that they have with that, but they're going to need a new fire station. So anyway, we'll have more discussions about that. Is that a Milcom project or is it what? So we'll have more discussion about that. But anything else you wanted to say on the land?
No.
Okay.
I got right into the meeting, and since I'd introduced Colonel Lundaby at our commission meeting, I forgot, might be some of you in here that had not met him yet. So my apologies that I did not do that initially. Our new Vance commander, Colonel Josh Lundaby. Make sure you get to know him. Of course, most of you already know Chief McReynolds, but I think it seems like when one great commander leaves, another one just comes in. It just keeps going on and on and on. So make sure if you haven't had a chance to meet the Vance team yet, do that, okay? So if you have anything to say, I'm more than happy.
Excited to be here, been in the seat now for about 3 weeks, and time just flies by. Excited, married, my wife, we were actually dating when I was a student here 20 years ago, got engaged.
All right.
We got 2 kids, 17-year-old, 14-year-old, both at Eaton High School, one's a senior, one's a freshman. Community's been amazing. We really appreciate the warm welcome, and we look forward to working with all of you over the course of the next couple of years.
Good. Thank you. Item number 3.3, update on Oklahoma Senate Bill 893 concerning land purchases by foreign adversaries and the protection of critical infrastructure.
Okay, and congrats for coming to Vance. We're glad to have you back home, but I started yesterday, my job is to always work with them to understand what their priorities are, and then we kind of update back and forth, and had a great meeting yesterday with him. And it just so happened that all the military legislative aides for our congressional delegation were there, except Mullins, and he's coming next Monday. So it's a great opportunity to talk about all those issues, and it's great to have him here, and we work on all the things we do at Vance. But again, that's the critical issues of the Vance Development Authority, is understanding how we all play a role to participate in helping them do what they do better. So we, again, like the mayor said, we have a next great wing commander here, so we're glad that you're here. There was a bill yesterday, and I'm sorry I didn't mention it yesterday. Last session, a lot of states and the federal government are trying to, eliminate foreign adversary purchase of land in states, particularly around military installation. Our particular bill last year, initially it had, only 10 miles around the military base, And there were some other issues but it was a very small constant, even though 10 miles around the bay sounds like a lot, but really, what we moved it to or changed it to no foreign purchase of land in military operating areas in the state, because we figured that, well, okay, for you, and then your number one asset is airspace. Well, it isn't 10 miles close to the base. It's out west where you do business. Same way with all the other installations. You can imagine Fort Sill's got military operating areas, Altus does, and even McAllister has certain, even the ammunition depot. So we changed it to do that. There were some other things in there that we did, but at the end of the day, because of what was going on at the federal level, because if you can have a federal overarching deal, it's better having 50 states do their own little options. Well, the federal level hasn't been able to accomplish that yet either. So I think if something doesn't happen in this session, you'll probably see this type of bill come back. So we'll certainly work with you, because it wasn't that we were necessarily right about military operating areas. We just knew it was more than the 10 miles. So, and the state's willing, actually, how Oklahoma is, we're willing, hey, we'll eliminate the whole state if we need to, just to make sure you're protected. So we'll probably get back to you on that if that comes up again. So that's where that, so they just set it aside where it could be brought back if needed, so.
Okay. Other discussion? No? Item 3.4, discuss MILCON project, Squadron Operations Facility, timing of the engineering and design fiscal year DEP. What is DEP?
FIDEP.
FIDEP.
I don't know how they would write that down, but I knew it. We call it sort of 5-year plan for projects. But so MILCON, we were able to discuss these all yesterday, even with the congressional folks that were here. As you know, we got the $8.9 million for them to be able to do engineering design. One of the first things Senator Mullen did, it was a congressional ad, so we got that. And then finally, the Corps of Engineers has the dollars, so they have plan. The initial timeline of that was to be at about 35% or 30% design by September, further by the end of the year to be complete early next year. Well, once they get it and look at it, and they need to do some more scoping with the Air Force to understand what really the size and scope of that project needs to be. So I understand it's October timeframe when they're going to do it, and all we've asked is there a way to be able to do that sooner rather than later? So because the only way a MILCON project for us gets funded, and you guys know all the couple of handfuls of projects we've had since '95, they were all congressional ads, and we all know that project has to be in the FIDEP, has to be so far along engineering design before. Doesn't mean our delegation can get it. It just means they have an opportunity to do it if it's not in the regular program budget item. Maybe they can get it a little sooner than later. They don't want to get ahead of what they need to do, but that's so anyway, I think the Corps, once they have, because they've been told, from us and our delegation that, well, okay, we understand your timing is your timing, but if there's anything you can do to increase your ability to get it done sooner, we'd appreciate that. So that'll remain to be seen. We'll wait, because they're the experts. They know what they need or don't need. So, and all of them heard that. So we'll see how that goes. And again, depending on what we can do at the fire station, you can see that you have another priority that's most likely a MILCON, unless we can figure out another way to get that done. Well, you can see what happens to us if we don't get a project completed. Now we're to the next project, and then it just seems to stack up. And infrastructure, we all know, is important to our base, so that's why we have those discussions. So unless the commander has anything to say, I don't. That's all I know about that so far.
No, we spot on. So I think originally we were hoping to have the 65% plan done by the end of this year, but based on rescoping, the T7, changes the pilot training, it's looking like it's going to be October 26th for the 65%, which is kind of what we need to give a better idea specifically on what that looks like for funding on the FIDEP, which is the 5-year Air Force plan. So Team's working through that. I've actually got to sit down with the Army Corps of Engineer equivalent in the next couple of weeks. So we'll talk through what we can do to try to accelerate that and try to get it into earlier pump cycles where possible.
And as I was telling the commander, our delegation, is very helpful, and they always want to figure out how to thread the needle on doing these. They don't want to get in the way, but they also want to assist, so that's what we're kind of all working on, so we'll see how that goes.
And I will say our delegation can help you with that up in DC. So if you have any problems, make sure you get with Coop, and they can probably pick up the phone and help. So, all right. You bet. Item number 3.5, update on Defense Community Infrastructure or DCIP projects.
So as you all know, we had filed, for this year was the upwards of $13 million for the power project. We did not receive that. They funded 10 projects this year. I haven't seen all the amounts to those yet. Doesn't mean that that's over. In fact, the mayor and I have, we talked about what are some other possible solutions that we'll go speak to corporation commissioners and the like to figure out, maybe what can be done, because it certainly is a priority. It's not just a priority for Vance, it's actually a priority for Enid, because that solves a lot of solutions being without power. So I know Brian Bingman real well, who's on he was a mayor back when I was a mayor, and so we have a good relationship, but they're certainly willing to listen, so we'll set up a meeting and have those discussions about what maybe there are some solutions to get that done. So,
In case you don't remember, this was the redundancy on the electricity for the new substation. And thing went from an estimate of 5 million to 7 to 14. And then all of a sudden can't get it done. So we will talk to the Corporation Commission because we need help on this.
yeah, and essentially for like you guys that weren't on VDA before, we'll build a new substation on the west side. There's one on the east side. We'll build a line that connects the two to their substation, which essentially would mean any of the substations get knocked down, they can work, everyone can still work based on the other ones that are still working. So that's a sustainment thing for them, resiliency deal. It actually is very beneficial to us as well. So we'll have those discussions and look at other methods. And again, it might be another priority for the revolving fund I was talking to you about earlier, that maybe that's something, because it isn't just Vance that has those type of problems. We've kind of talked to all the folks that are on OSMPC that all of the bases, they actually want a solution to be off the grid, where they're off the grid. So there's those type of backup power solutions and this type of thing that all of us need, because there's a requirement from DOD and through the NDAA that they try to figure out a way to do it. Of course, a lot of the way to do it, it's very costly, but it needs to be done. So there'll be more to come on that.
Item 3.6, discuss the timing for proffer of land to the U.S. Air Force. It's in October. That's what we were talking about a while ago. Go ahead, Mike.
Ashley, is there any update on any of that? I know we wanted to do it with General Robinson, so I know there's things going on. Okay. Yep, that'd be good.
So we're going through that process. The 60 acres that we bought on the south end of the runway, we got that all purchased. That was easy, but before you just turn that over to the military, there has to be an environmental study. There has to be a block survey. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done ahead of time. We're well on our way on that, just trying to, an appraisal. We're getting all those done, and that's what they're talking about October. We think we'll be able to do that and actually hand the deed over in October. So General Robinson wanted to come down and accept that, but he's also retiring in October. So we'll see how all that works out moving forward. So anyway, I'm going to hand that deed to somebody. So, all right. 3.7, update on the Association of Defense Communities Installation Innovation Forum scheduled for October 2025. Mike?
Yeah, the mayor and I are going to go to that. That's the installation innovation, is where you hear all the issues about DSIP, about intergovernmental support agreements, essentially how states and communities can work with the installations, and what help is from, whether it's DOD or the other government agencies or your congressional delegations, or how you make things work, how you bring money to the table. Now, we have the Vance Development Authority, we have the OSMPC at the state level, then we have our congressional delegation. Well, not all states work like that, so a lot of times folks will come to these entities or this event to hear how things are done. And so, they'll have, I know the new Assistant Secretary of Defense will be there. All of the installation environment and energy secretaries will be there, as well as all of the installation secretaries are there. So those are all the people that you and I would work with to, either give them solutions or they tell us about issues and problems they're having. So all of the people are there. It's a great conference, I guess, to bring all the entities together to do stuff. It's kind of more of a learning, share ideas type thing. So be good.
Item 3.8, update on the Air Force Administration Cyber Warfare Annual Conference.
And actually, George, myself, and others have always been involved in Air Force Association, so we go there. That's the Air Force kind of use that as a learning kind of event for education type event for, their officers and things. So everybody and anybody's there that's in leadership of the Air Force. So you go there and you can certainly hear what the new strategies are to fight and win wars, how different issues affect your type of installations and all that. So, but again, you have all the key leaders, Secretary Chiefs, and all the commanders that are there talking about all the installations. So it's a great conference as well. So that's coming up. So.
And last, item number 3.9, update on the Congressional Military Legislative Aides visit to Vance Air Force Base.
Again, all of them were here yesterday. Joe Defer, which is the new military aide for Mullen, comes next week. It's always a great opportunity. This particular visit was good because we have a new wing commander, so we got to meet him and the new support group commander. So that was all good, but it's that way of everybody trying to be on the same page about what their key issues are or not. So, sir, I assume you thought it went okay. So
It was great to meet them and then talk about some of the issues that we're facing here at Vance. So a lot of the things we're talking about in this forum came up in that forum as well. So I think we're all kind of synced on what the hot topics are.
yeah, and next week, I know Langford's here, so some of us will go to that, and then I'll go with Joe when they go out to that meeting. So it's all good.
You'll be at that Rotary meeting. Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Next Monday, I believe.
Monday, yes, sir.
I'll be there.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right. I think that's everything. With that being said, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
Curious. That was shorter than our first one. I think it was too.
We done over here? Very cool.